What's up, listeners? Thanks for coming back. Hope you are well. We are here for another amazing podcast. We are here with guest Stephani Worley, who I met at one of our events and asked her to come on. She is a anxiety therapist, right? But also has a side business as a relationship coach, life coach, just helping people ultimately have a better relationship with others and themselves, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me. So glad to be here.
Great. You having a good week?
Yes. Yeah, it's Friday. It's been a busy week, but a really great week. Mm-hmm.
Good. So, yeah, we're going to actually start off with, because we just kind of tapped into your experience that you just had with Bufo. And, as many of my listeners know that, I'm a firm believer in plant medicines. When you have a calling to do it, to heal something, to get more information on something, then it's a wonderful source to just catapult you in life. So you went to go do Bufo. So my question is, like, what was the pull you had? What was the intention behind it?
Oh, that's a good one. So I was in Mexico for a month and working, and I've heard about it and have been interested in doing the ayahuasca, reading some blog posts about other people's experiences. And it just seemed, I don't know if there was a specific reason to do it, that I wanted to do it, but I wanted a new experience, something to kind of jolt me out of where I was. There was a lot of fear and anxiety about my business and things going on. And I just thought this would give me like a whole new perspective. And it sure did.
Ooh, that's amazing. Yeah, it usually does. So talk a little bit about this fear that you were feeling.
So fear of uncertainty, just nothing huge that was going on, but this like fear of uncertainty, things holding me back, like limiting beliefs. And I was aware of them. I'd been working on them, doing a lot of self-coaching through them, but some things just sort of felt stuck. Some of those limiting beliefs just weren't budging, weren't moving. Mm-hmm. And I had the opportunity. I think that was also part of it. I never expected to do it, but I had the opportunity to do it. And it was like, okay, like, it's here. I'm here. Like, let's try this out. What's the worst that could happen?
Sure.
So I just jumped right in.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. So you talked about these limiting beliefs, and you're a coach, you're a life coach, so you know all about these limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. So you've been working with them for a while. I want to jump back to, like, how long has it been where, like, you first realized how limited you were?
Mm. That's a really great question. So really starting my business pushed me. I think business is like the best personal development thing you can do. It's like it just, you get to put yourself out there. You're the one responsible. You're creating value in the world and just hoping that it comes back to you, right? And trusting that process. There's so much. There's money beliefs. There's believing that you can provide that value. There's selling yourself, like marketing and putting yourself out there and being like confident that you can do that. And so starting the business really like, there's, can I really do this? Is this, like worth my time and energy? And, what do I really want to do? What is the value that I want to provide and put out there? And then with anything, when you learn anything new, there's that learning curve. And so there's a lot of failure. And so with failure, I say failure, but I think failure is a mindset. I don't think you can see it as failure. You can see it as learning. So there's a lot of learning that's going on, which doesn't feel good. So when you start a business, you don't feel good. It's like,
I thought you just feel great all the time.
Yeah. So that really made me face a lot of fears, face a lot of anxieties and things about me, about myself that I didn't have to face before starting the business. And I was all for it. Like I was.
Yeah. Why'd you want to start the business?
Oh, that's another good question. You're full of them.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, that is why we're here. So I started my coaching business. So I'm a mental health therapist, licensed, and was doing that. And I felt another pull, another calling to do more. I felt, I don't know, maybe I guess bored at my job. And I had opportunity, I had the mental space and energy to learn more. So I actually got certified as a health coach in functional medicine. And I went through the Cleveland Clinic's functional medicine, which is a great program, and saw a lot of great results from that. So I started doing some health coaching, and then I got my yoga certification, and then I went through the life coach school to get certified as a life coach. And through all of that, I'm like, wait, what was the question? Through all of that,
you saw a business there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, another way to help people. Oh, that's different than therapy, because I've always had this calling to help people not just get sick people well, but help people who maybe aren't, quote, sick, get them to be thriving.
You always had that pull.
Yeah, I always love like the field of positive psychology. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just be okay. I want to be happy. Like, how can we take someone normal and like help them thrive? Because there's some limits there that, I don't know, at least in the medical field, it just stops at being okay. Like, you're not in pain, so you're okay. And it's like, but what if you want to get stronger? What if you want to get better? What if you want to be happier or more fulfilled? Like, where's that next step? And that's what I saw coaching open up. It was like, oh, this is really what I wanted to do, was help people not just survive, but thrive. Like, yeah. Create a life that you love and relationships that you love and love yourself. Like, how much fun
that was missing. That was missing in just therapy.
And yeah, it was just to like, okay.
Why is it missing?
You're better. You're done. A lot of different reasons. First of all, happiness isn't diagnosable. So we can't like
write a book on it, or a bill. Yeah.
You can't bill for like, well, they just want to get better. Same with relationships. I mean, and when I went through my master's to get to be a counselor, like, you learn how to diagnose, and you could probably diagnose anybody with something and bill for it. But with relationships, there's no like billable code to improve a relationship or improve communication. So that's part of it. You have to have a deficiency. You have to have a problem to be able to bill in the medical field.
And lack of happiness is not considered a problem.
No, not if you're depressed. I got you.
Yeah, potentially for life, right?
Right, yeah.
So what is depression?
So depression looks different for different people. And there's symptoms. There's lots of symptoms to it. It does look different for different people. And the good thing, and right now it's all symptom based. So you ask questions and people self-report, and then you can get a diagnosis. In the works, though, the most recent research is doing MRIs of the brain to actually see what's going on in the brain to better diagnose people. But unfortunately, that's not here yet. So it's sadness, loneliness, lack of purpose or meaning. It's staying in bed all day. It's talking negativity to yourself all day. Diagnosing it comes to functionality. So if you're not able to function, you're not able to go to work, you're not able to get out of bed, that's when we can diagnose it. Or it's significantly impacting relationships or other areas of your life. And then it's diagnosable, we would say. But we all have times where we're sad or depressed. Is it diagnosable? Is it to that level? You would need to.
Is it where you can't get out of it on a daily basis, right?
Yeah, it's again functionality, and that can look different for different people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's plenty of functional depressed people too that are still working and out there and going to the stores, and that might have been me years ago, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But okay, so knowing what you know now, since we're on this topic, how would you guide someone out of depression without the prescription drugs and stuff like that?
The number one thing that's been shown in studies is to walk 30 minutes a day. If you can walk outside for 30 minutes a day, the studies have shown that it is as effective as taking an antidepressant. And I would say without the negative side effects.
Yeah, if anything, you get positive.
So getting yourself moving, but that's often so hard. It's like the exact opposite of what you want to do, or I should say what your brain is telling you to do when you're feeling depressed.
Yeah.
Stay in bed, cuddle, get your blanket.
Yeah, it sounds easy for, someone who works out, go walk 30 minutes and you won't be depressed. But if you can't get out of bed, so then...
It's the exact opposite. So that would just be, if you just need a nugget, like that's it, to just get out and get walking. And then there's a lot more when you work with a therapist or a coach on, like we were talking earlier, challenging your limiting beliefs and doing the thought work and learning how to process feelings. And depending how long you've been depressed, that changes things a little bit too.
Yeah. So you got to go into it. Okay, so there was a pull. You wanted to help people on a deeper level, and it's been the most growing and healing for you, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So as I'm learning all these things with the health coaching, the yoga, and the life coaching, I'm my first client. They apply everything to me first.
You're your first client.
Yeah, of course. So applying everything to myself, like how does this actually work? Doing the work, seeing the results, seeing the changes in myself and in my life. Yeah.
And what kind of changes were you seeing?
Oh, more energy, more clarity in like what I want to do, and more self-confidence. Better, my relationships got better because I stopped trying to control other people or expect certain things from other people, and more love, because I could just love them for who they are. Even though what they might be doing might be frustrating, I still can love them for who they are. I can not like the behaviors or maybe how they're showing up or what they're doing, but so much more love in my life.
That's a big one, control. I mean, most people are trying to control everything, especially in their relationships. So how did that happen for you, where that shift just took place, where you just let go of control? Yeah,
and also control is very much an anxiety-based symptom. Yeah, wanting to control things, have things be a certain way. So looking at where is, like, what are you afraid of if you let go of control? And evaluating, like, why am I controlling this? What's actually happening underneath the surface for me? Or what do I think I'm going to get out of this if I take control? So oftentimes we want to control someone else. Like, if someone else would just show up differently, then I would feel better. It'd be so much easier if, they didn't, say that to me, or if they would just text me back or show up on time. Like, if they could just, then I would feel better.
Right. And that's what most people do.
Right. And so coaching looks at, well, we can't control the other person, so what can you do? So I'll give an example. My husband's notoriously late, like all the time for everything. And
that doesn't bother you anymore?
It does not bother me anymore. I'm a very on-time person. And so at first my thought was like, well, he's so disrespectful. This is rude. He's wasting my time. And those thoughts...
And you thought this for how many years?
A while. I still catch myself sometimes.
Well, yeah. Yeah, okay.
So for like a couple of years, I was still with him. Everything else is good. And, but this one thing. And so I really worked hard.
And you told him about it and all that stuff.
So, right. So those thoughts create a lot of like negative feelings. And then I end up telling him about it. I'm like, it's very rude and I don't like this. And I feel like you're disrespecting me and my time when you show up late. And he's very self-aware and calm, and so we were able to have like an actual discussion about it. And he was like, look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to waste your time. He's like, I just struggle with time management. And he's got ADHD, and now that we've been married, I'm like, oh yeah, like he legit cannot understand the passing of time. And I was like, what do you mean? And now that I've been living with him, it's like, oh yeah, like I get, like, he cannot feel time.
He cannot feel time. Yeah, because time really isn't real anyways, right?
Right. But if I close my eyes for 5 minutes, I can like gauge-ish, like 5 minutes-ish. He doesn't have that ability. And I didn't believe it at first. But anyway, so we had this conversation about it, and I didn't quite believe him, but I chose to believe him. I chose to believe his thoughts that like he's not doing this on purpose. He really just struggles with it. It doesn't mean, so when next time he was late, because of course it kept happening, the next time he was late, I looked at those thoughts, like the automatic thoughts came up. He's being so rude. He's wasting my time. And I just reframed it like he's not trying to be rude. This isn't, he's doing the best he can. I love him anyways. And that was the thing I had to come to was like, can I still love him even if he shows up late every single time? And I was like, yeah. I made that choice, though. I didn't try to control him. And then when I was able to do that, then I let go of all of that anxiety and pressure on him to change. And I just got to feel love. I love him anyways. Wasting my time. Okay, I'm going to do something else while I wait. So now we'll get ready to go out on a date. I'm ready first. And then I just sit there and read a book until he's ready.
Mm-hmm. So you built in like another 15, 20 minutes.
So yeah,
I mean,
and then I do that too. Yeah. Yeah. So in your relationships, yeah, we can't control. It would be much easier for him to change so that I could just feel better. But instead, I had to do the work to work on my thoughts, do that thought work to change how I feel in the situation. And I think it would be much easier if other people can just change, if other people. Like, it's like we have these manuals for other people to make us happy, but they don't know what the manual is. Well, we have them for them.
Yeah.
So, and even if we tell them, do this thing to make me happy, they still get to choose whether or not they do it. Like, he still shows up late. Like, he's still, yeah. And
I almost feel like when we do that, then even if that person obliges by the manual and now we're happy, we're going to be so conditioned to move on to the next thing versus, okay, how do I let go of control? Okay, I need to change these specific thoughts. I need to change maybe a habit. If, 7:30 comes and he's not ready, then I'm going to read a book for 15, 20 minutes. So I do this, and then you can apply that to just about anything now, right?
Mm-hmm. So when you give that manual, you have those expectations of other people. You're outsourcing your emotional responsibility. So you're making someone else responsible for how you feel. I'm only going to be happy if you show up on time. I'm only going to love you if you show up on time. So now you put your emotions in their hands, which just that's not actually how it works. You are in charge of your own emotions.
Because they're happening inside of you.
Yeah, they're coming from your thoughts. They're coming from how you think.
Inside of you, not
inside of you.
Yeah, but we think that that is causing my the way that I feel inside.
Yeah.
That is causing that.
And that's just
but
not
we're
the
causing
case.
that.
Yeah, it's how you think about the situation. So he comes late, I could choose to think he's being rude, and then I get to feel awful about it. Or I can think, I love him anyways and feel love. I love him no matter what. And I get to feel love then.
And then you feel it inside of your body instead of stressed out and anxious, ready to go and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But I had to work on that. I had to get to that point.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation about it. And I had to choose to believe that he's not actually doing this on purpose. Because then if I think he's rude, then my brain's going to look for all the other times that he's being rude. I'm going to make that the truth.
The priority. That's
the
what
reality.
People do, right?
Mm-hmm. Because your brain focuses on it.
Focus on my husband is rude here in this specific spot. What else is he rude about? Oh, it could be all of these other things. And now you're just in a miserable relationship.
Yeah, that you created.
That you created, not that person.
Because they don't have control over your emotions. You do. It's your responsibility. Your emotions are your responsibility, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
It's empowering. You can do something about it.
If you want to be in a good relationship, you can be. Yeah. It's totally in your control, right?
Yeah. If you want to have a better relationships, or if you want to have a better relationship, have better thoughts.
Have better thoughts.
It's that simple. It's not easy. It's simple. Which is why having a coach, having someone to talk it out with, highlight these thoughts, these limiting beliefs, these thoughts that you're having, helping you challenge them, look through them, and then taking ownership of your emotions, whatever they are.
And how do you take ownership?
you feel them. You let them be there.
You just feel them out, right? You don't run away.
Yeah, you have to face them. You have to learn to face. And that's a skill. You can learn how to feel a feeling.
And
no one taught us that.
What's your tips for that?
Oh, yeah. So feeling a feeling. So a feeling, first of all, is just a vibration in the body caused by a thought. We have a thought. I think of it like a guitar string. You pick a guitar string and the vibration goes in your body. That's the emotion. That's just some sensations. So first of all, you have to not be afraid of your emotions. They're not going to actually hurt you. The things that hurt you are the behaviors you do from that emotion. Sometimes you overeat, overdrink, overbusy yourself. There's lots of things we do to avoid feeling a feeling. Yep. And that's the thing that hurts more than the actual feeling.
Right.
So it's becoming aware of it and sitting with it in the moment. So what I help people do is like, wow, what are you feeling right now? Like, what's going on, right? Let's get curious. And it's like, is it tightness in your chest? Is it butterflies in your stomach? Like, and stay very mindful in the moment. Stay with it. Ride the wave. They only last 60 to 90 seconds. So if you can ride the wave, I mean, there's going to be another wave. But if you can ride that wave, like surf the wave, then you've felt a feeling. So notice the sensations in your body. You can label it. Oh, is this sadness or is this loneliness? Is this feeling guilty or is this shame? Or, like identifying what is this, happiness or is it joy? Or is it optimism or drive or determination? So you can label it. That helps you stay in the moment, being aware of it. And you feel it and then it passes. And that's like, again, very simple. That's all it is.
Yeah, it should be simple.
It's just not easy. It's just you don't have the skill. We're not used to doing it.
We're just not taught.
Yeah.
There's not a feel your emotions class in high school.
I know. That's what we need. I say in middle school, we need to do an intensive program for middle schoolers to learn how to feel. What's the feeling?
Point. Once like 7 years old, after 7 is already when like the emotional body starts really being developed. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So what are like some most common feelings that you help your clients witness and then process?
Oh, everything across the board. Yeah. I usually try to catch them like in session if I see it bubbling up or like see, like, I don't know, it could be like, eyes are starting to swell or they get real quiet or something. I'm like, what's going on right now? What's going on? What's coming up right now? And they're like, and maybe they give me a thought and I'm like, okay, but what's going on in your body right now? Right now. And they're like, oh, it's, is it, and then I'll even give them like, is it hot or cold, big or little? Is there any movement, like tingliness or anything like that? Try to redirect them and help them stay in the moment with their own feeling.
Yeah, like when they start getting like emotional and teary, you want them to sit with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because we can't, at that point, they're not in their logical brain. They're in their, so we can't do thought work because they're not in their logical brain. So we're in the emotional brain. So let's just sit there for a moment. It passes and then we move on and do more thought work.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so back to starting a business and seeing these new limiting beliefs. Like, can you identify what some of them are or were? And maybe, are you still working with some?
Oh, yeah.
I think we always are, right?
There's always, yeah, we always are. So it's funny. I have the imposter syndrome, even as a coach, even though I'm a therapist. I think it's funny because I think in the coaching communities, they're like, well, if I just should go get my therapy degree. And I'm like, it won't change.
It won't change because we're just running from like, you're always what you are right now. Mm-hmm. You're always as most capable as you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I had the same thing too. Sort of the imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm very well educated and I know this, but like, there's still this like, oh, but I'm not good enough or something. The good enough is an underlying theme, I think, for most people, not feeling not being good enough, not doing enough. I feel that
it's like the deepest, right? When did you first think that, right? 6 years old?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah. So it's right? Deep-seated. And part of that is because our brain is wired for survival. So it like wants us to keep pursuing. It wants us to keep being better and doing more. If we didn't have that, it wouldn't motivate us. in a
100%.
way.
It's just not taught to us to process it the right way, instead of it being where tomorrow's a new opportunity to be better, today's another opportunity to be better and do something new and creative. It's well, I'm just not good enough. I could always be better. I'm not perfect. We hear all that, and then yeah,
and doing something perfect. So that's what right now I'm working on, being more visible, which this is part of that, right? Being on a podcast is part of it. And so the perfectionism of like not being ready, and it's like, you have to move forward even if it's messy. And again, I think for people, especially with anxiety, it's like that's really hard to do, to move forward even if it's messy. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look just right. And it's like whatever your goal is, you just have to start moving towards it, even in a really messy way. And then through that, then you start gaining that confidence of like, I could do it. So I work with clients who maybe like want to start like walking more, doing more exercise, like, but I should get a new pair of shoes. I'm like, no, just start with what you have, where you have. You don't need a gym membership to start getting fit. You could just start walking outside. We've all got that. It's free. You kind of have to start where you are. Start making posts or making content just with what you have, where you're at. It's not going to be perfect. And that's okay. Telling yourself it's not okay, and like believing that it's not okay, like it is okay, that you can you can hold that space for yourself to feel all those feelings that are going to come up.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you said, that starting a business is like the most self-development thing you can do. You gotta be on it. You wear all the hats and it's all on you, and and every day is, potentially something new and another quote unquote fear that you are going to go through. But like you said, the confidence, the momentum is a real thing. You do something for a year, you're going to feel completely different, doing something after a year than day one. I know on my own personal journey, the first time I did a live, I was like sweating. I was so nervous. But I knew I had to do it. It was like, okay, I'm just going to get over it. Because you don't want to live in that other state, which is, that depressive state of boredom. And I think boredom is a big thing. It's a big thing. Like for you, it was a big thing. You were bored in therapy. If you would have continued on that path of being bored, you probably wouldn't be as healthy as you are now.
Yeah. Well, that's where no matter what you choose, it's going to be 50-50, right? Emotionally 50-50. So staying in your career or in a job, it might be 50-50, where it's like half boredom and half security. It's like, oh, but I know my bills are going to get paid every month. I know that paycheck is coming. I know I can clock out at 5:00 and be done for the day, for the weekend, right? Versus 50-50 with entrepreneurship, where it's like, it's exciting and fun and there's all these things I get to learn and do, but then how am I going to pay my bills? Yeah,
there's everything else 100%.
So I think it's more of expansive 50-50, but it's no matter what you choose, it's always going to be emotionally 50-50. And that's where, if you can feel any feeling, if you can allow yourself, or you get good at feeling feelings, the world is yours, because the worst thing that can ever happen is just a feeling. But no matter what you choose, it's going to be that 50-50. You get to choose what type of 50-50 do you want. Do you want the security, or do you want the excitement, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. 50-50, bored but secure.
Because there's good things about it.
There's good things about that. You can travel. You can buy nice.
Plan ahead.
You can buy nice things. All of that. And that could be potentially your purpose in this lifetime, because you could be doing other things with, your gifts too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's not a bad thing at all.
It's not a bad thing. But if you feel that pull to do something else.
But for some of us here.
But when you feel that pull, you're like, enough is enough. Screw this shit type of stuff. Thoughts are happening.
The pain of that is greater than the fear of the unknown. That's when most people take the leap. Yeah.
That's when most people take the leap. And sometimes it happens after a tragedy.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. Like,
and I bet you see that. Right.
Well, for me, that's how it was. Like an entire shift. Yeah. Yeah. So it was just like a really low point in my life. And I just had like this different awareness of my life situation. And it allowed me to make the choice of, okay, let's get healthier. Because at the time I was not eating great. I was partying, I was drinking, I was taking pills, like I was not in a good space. And so I made the shift there. I got a little bit healthier on that end. And I was actually playing poker professionally at that time, also a super unfulfilling career that led to a lot of bad habits. And I was losing weight, and people at the casino were like, "What are you doing?" And I was giving them some tips, and people were like losing weight. So I was like, I should do this coaching thing. So I lived in I should do for like another year, right? Fear. So I had the 50-50. I had the boredom and the stability, because, you know, I was a winning poker player for 15 years. Work at my own time schedule, cash, all that good stuff. But super bored and all the
it takes us a while of that uncomfortable, that it's called cognitive dissonance, where it's like that friction between who I am and who I want to be.
Exactly. Yeah. I wanted to be something else for at least probably the last 7 years of my career, and didn't do it. And because I didn't do it, it was filling that void with other things, running away from emotions. And my emotions I was running away from were from childhood, from 6 years old stuff. So, you know, it was really the divine and the God or the universe that really kind of put it all together for me. I was listening to a spiritual book while I was driving at the time, and I started getting emotional, and this truck drove by, a big box truck, and it said Spirit right on the side of it. And then I hear from my higher self to sign up for the health coach, life coach certification course I was looking for a year and a half. And I got to the casino and clicked the button, and then everything just domino effect. And then I had a couple of sessions in just sitting in my sauna and meditating, where like all the, you know, childhood stuff came up, and a lot of limiting beliefs came out of me. And then I kind of just saw my purpose and where I'm headed and supposed to do.
That's great.
Yeah. And along the way, you know, a lot of other stuff. Opening the business is the whole. Since then, it's been nonstop.
Moment, but then you need to continue.
You got to keep going,
and that like drive for it.
Yeah, there's almost like no turning back. Once you see what you're capable of, there's no turning back. So I got that gift of seeing what I'm capable of. Yeah, but everybody has that inside, and you know, sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes it's going to always happen on its own time. But I feel like if we do the right things and eat healthy and exercise and take time to, like, you know, meditate and do other stuff, we give ourselves a better chance to have those breakthroughs. Sometimes you just need Bufo or other stuff.
Give you a kick in the butt.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so you got through a lot, started a business. How long have you been doing this business now?
Since 2019.
Okay, so that's good. That's 5 years. 5 years you've been...
I took a couple years off when I had my kid, though. I had my son.
Okay.
Because postpartum anxiety and depression kicked my butt.
Yeah.
So I had to like take a step back and just do me for a while.
And that's what you needed to do to get through that, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, it was rough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a real thing.
on the other side, though, so I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what's your quick little advice for women who go through that?
Just take the Zoloft.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so rough, and it was so bad that like I wasn't doing all my coping skills. I had stopped basically, and part of it was because I wasn't sleeping at night and I didn't have a schedule or routine, so I totally stopped meditating. I stopped doing yoga. I was still eating healthy, but very little physical activity, and it wasn't me, and I could tell it wasn't me, and it took a long time for me to get to the point of being willing to take the medication. And then once I did, it was by no means a happy pill. It was just like I take the edge off just enough so I could start getting back into the things that help me feel good. And then I did, and I was able to get back into the things, and I had my sanity about me. I was able to enjoy being a mother. I really just wasn't enjoying any of it. And it was just, there's so much anxiety about every little thing in regards to my son. So it took the edge off of that to allow me to get back into the things that felt good. And then I grew out of it. I was like, I don't think I need it. And getting off of it was another transition period and having to lean heavily on those coping skills and the things that help me feel good. So I'm glad I did it. And I think there's a lot of stigma against to not do it, but it does work. It does help. And if you need it, just take it. It's okay. It's not forever, and you can get off of it and move on. But there are periods in your life where like sometimes you do just need it. And that is the good thing about medicine, that like I want to do everything holistic as I can, but sometimes medical intervention is needed, and that's why it's there.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the first line of defense, but it wasn't for me. I tried other things, but then it was like, okay.
Yeah, and you had the other healthy habits that you had developed already, so it was...
Yeah, but they all went down the toilet. I mean, I started drinking again.
Really?
I had stopped drinking like 3 or 4 years before I got pregnant. So I had a long history of not drinking. And then I just was like, I just need something. I just need some relief. And it was such an easy thing to go to. So, yeah.
Your body was just thrown all whack.
Oh, yeah. And there was a lot of resistance to what I was experiencing, which did not help the situation. What you resist persists, what made it worse. So, and then especially facing the anxiety. And I'm like, I'm a mental health therapist. This doesn't happen to me.
So on top of that,
like I don't take Medicaid. I'm a therapist, So there was those limiting beliefs that kept me from seeking the help that I needed. Yeah, through that. So I took a couple years off of the business, and now I'm feeling even more myself, a new version of me, but
a better version.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like you said earlier, there's no failures. You learned from that experience.
Yeah.
And now you're able to help.
Yeah, now I have a whole new perspective on things and more skills, and my skills are stronger because I went through this.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So we started this podcast talking about Bufo, very strong plant medicine. You went to, was it Tulum?
No, I was in Playa del Carmen.
Okay. Mexico. And so let's talk about
go
that.
there for it. I was just there, and then there was an opportunity, and it was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So, and I had been reading about ayahuasca and been interested in it, but never I didn't want to do the week commitment to just do drugs. I feel like, oh, I don't know. But it was always interesting, and I was so intrigued by it. So yes, the opportunity came, and we did it on the beach, and it was...
So you just did it on the beach? So walk through that. How did the ceremony go?
Yeah, so there was a shaman. So a friend there linked us with his friend who's the shaman, and we went to this little spot on the beach in a little tucked away area. And there was 5 of us who were going to do it, and we did this whole ceremony. I don't even know all the details. We said a prayer. There was some music, set some sort of intention, I believe. And then one by one, you smoke it. It was a vape or something. And we smoked it, and maybe not a vape. I'm not sure.
Like a pipe?
A pipe, yeah. But I reckon it to a car accident. It was so intense, so fast, so just smack you in the face experience.
As soon as you took the hit, right?
Yeah, you hold it, and then it's when you exhale, you try to hold it as long as you can. As you exhale, it was a floating sensation, or a falling sensation, more of a falling sensation, but you're sitting, and then I laid down, so there was some actual falling, but lay down, and that's when it just hit you, and all of the you just go inside, and there's all those images that you see, the interweaving circles.
Oh yeah, what do they call
the spiritual type of imagery that you see and stuff. So all of that, and I was I'm not sure if you want me to share this because it wasn't a super great experience.
That's
but
okay.
it's short. But I was hoping for this like this oneness and the aliveness and this like together bliss of love place. But instead I went to like, I just like, and so I don't know if you guys know about the Bufo, but you die, like your ego dies. And so you have the death of the ego, which is not a fun thing to do.
So you saw that.
It wasn't a scene, as more of like a feeling.
You just felt like Stephani was dying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Die. So that's what like a car accident. It was just bam. And then like you die. And it was like,
how fast did that?
Oh, I don't know time.
Yeah. Cause you don't know time.
Yeah.
But you said it all like seemed like it happened fast.
Yeah. It's like 20 minutes at most. So it's really not that long. But then like I saw my body decompose and just die into so it was just like my skeleton, and then my skeleton just turned into dust, and everything was dust, and it was just like nothingness, like picture of like a desert, and it was just sand and sky, and they're all kind of the same color, but just
black?
Nothingness. No, not black. It was like sand color.
Okay.
Beige. Everything was just sort of like beige.
And then that was it.
And that was it. And then I was just like, okay, what else are we doing here? Like, what else is going to happen? And like nothing else happened. And I started crying. And then I was like, I want this to be over. So I opened my eyes and I looked up and I saw, so I guess part of this, I didn't tell you, but part of this, I opened my eyes, I saw like the palm trees and the blue sky above me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful thing. And then I sat up and I saw the waves and I was like, thank God I'm here. Like, I'd rather be here than there.
So there you go.
So I was like, oh my gosh, this is like how cool, how amazing, this like beautiful planet that we live on and all this beauty here. I was just like happy and thankful that I was able to come back to there. And it was still, the effects were still in me. So I had some like visuals and stuff, but it like the water, like the waves in the water were kind of glittery and shining and stuff, which just added to the amazingness of it all. And my husband was right there with me, and
he did it too?
No, he didn't. But he was right there.
He doesn't have to worry about time or anything like that.
No, right.
He's already happy on Earth.
Yes,
everything is already shimmering for him.
Yes, he's in his own happy space. So he was right there to support me, and I wrote some things down. I forget what I wrote down, but I did write a couple things down that I wanted to remember. But really, I was just like, I don't know. I just slightly disappointed. Not disappointed. I don't know, because you don't know what to expect. But again, I had an expectation and didn't quite meet that. But then afterward, for like 2 months afterward, I was in this like depressive kind of period, because it was like nothing. Like none of this means anything. This is all nothing. Like it's all going to just be dust. And I think it's even in the Bible, dust to dust, right? Like, yeah. And it's like, yeah. So part of that was great because I had like no fear, because I was like,
I think that's pretty cool.
This, like, I'm just going to do whatever.
Yeah.
Put myself out there. None of it, it means much of anything. And I've worked through that over time, but I wish I had, at that time, I wish I had more support afterward, for my emotional health, to like help me process it. Because like my husband didn't do it, and my friend who had done it like had that great experience. And so I was like, I don't know who to talk to about this. So
yeah,
I wish I had more support after, but I figured it out and processed it, and was doing some reading and kind of got back into my own spirituality a bit more to kind of help me through that. So
what do you think the medicine taught you?
Well, I still have that, like none of this means anything, but not in like such a depressive way, and just sort of this like, in a more jovial way of like, to not take things so seriously, and like we're only here on this planet, and to like enjoy the planet, and like whether it's raining or sunny or snowy. You know, Cleveland can be rough, but at times, but it's only because of how we think about it. And so just enjoying it. And now through my son, I get to like re-experience the world. So this was right before I got pregnant with him. And we're actually taking a pregnancy test to make sure I wasn't pregnant before I did it. Mm-hmm. So it was right before I had him. But now that I have him and I'm feeling a lot better, I'm like get to see the world through his eyes, which is so much fun too.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was a crazy experience.
That's amazing.
I don't
that's big.
recommend it for everybody, but it is.
You have to be ready for it, and you do need the support after. That's a big thing. Yeah, that's a big thing. Because I'm starting to facilitate Tepes Guite ceremonies, which is very different, very similar, but very different than Bufo. That's a lot shorter, and yet you need to be able to talk through some of that stuff, because it's clear now for you after some time has passed that the medicine was showing you that, look, it's okay. Like, none of this is that serious, number one. So put yourself out there. Don't worry about what anyone says. It's not that serious. But at the same time, you're here on earth. Enjoy this beauty now in the present moment. Like, look what you get to live here on earth. It's a gift. It's a gift. And we take that for granted. We could be gone tomorrow to that place that is all eternal on the beach, or I don't know. And,
I have people ask me, like, in the clinical setting about like the other psychedelics and stuff they're using for mental health treatment, and it's like, you need that support. You need the structure of it, whether it be like the ceremony or in a setting where you have physical and mental support to help you through that and to get the most out of it, right? Like, to extract the value from it, because I don't even think I really made that conclusion until now of that value, until it's like processing it out and talking it out really fully with somebody. That's where you get meaning from it. Otherwise, it's just recreational.
Well, it's the mind trying to control again a situation that is it's beyond the mind, right? So that's why people can get stuck in that. But the medicine is always teaching you something that is best for you in that moment. So whatever that moment was when it happened to you, it was trying to teach you in that moment what's best for you. And part of it is to not have expectations. Never have expectations, because we always get disappointed. How many expectations have ever come out better? Like, no, it's usually they didn't live up to this or that. And like we talked about in the beginning of the podcast, the whole thing of control.
It leads to disappointment.
It leads to disappointment, exactly.
But then we get to blame them for our disappointment.
Then we get to blame them for our disappointment.
Right, which doesn't work.
No.
Right. It always comes back to you and how you're thinking about it. Yeah.
It always comes back to you and us. Yep. That's it. So, okay. So how do people reach you if they want to have a conversation? Yeah.
Best way to get a hold of me is through Instagram at Stephani Worley. And that's STEPHANI, no E, Worley, WRLEY. I'm there. I post. You can DM me. And I love to have a chat with anybody.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And anytime you want to come back again, maybe after another ceremony or something.
Yeah.
In the future.
That would be great.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.